It's podcaster versus podcaster with Rock Solid's Pat Francis taking on me, Ryan Buds, in Tom Cruise and Arnold Schwarzenegger trivia in the very first ever Buds Battle episode. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be? Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds, and I am 31 years old today. This episode's dropping the day after my birthday, but that also happens to be my daughter Annabelle's second birthday. So I turned 31 at the time of this recording, and that is the Rob Zombie movie that came out this year. So my life is officially like a Rob Zombie movie that to maybe no people saw. I am excited to be this old. It's the Baskin-Robbins year, 31 flavors, and I'm going to celebrate by getting a massage that costs less with tip than I am in age. So it'll be like $30, and it's at a strip mall by my house, and it is a good time. So that's going to be a great birthday for me. My wife surprised me. She got me a couple wrestling buddies. They make noise when you slam them down. So I got The Rock and John Cena. We're going to battle, me and Annabelle. That's our big that'll probably keep us busy for the next year till the next birthdays. So it's been an awesome birthday so far, and hopefully people are coming out tonight to the Moose Den, which is one of my brand new trivia locations in Glendale, California. If you want to play trivia live with me somewhere, come do it at the Moose Den. I used to host trivia there about a year and a half ago, and then it fizzled out, and now we're back in there. And it was always a good time. We had huge crowds, and they just had some management changes, so that's why we're back. So I'm excited about that. Check out my website, triviawithbuds.com, for all my locations. I have 2 new trivia nights and 2 new bingo nights. And the bingo nights started yesterday. They're every Sunday at the Congregational Ale Houses in Pasadena and Azusa, and they went amazingly yesterday. So that was really cool. I am excited because I saw this movie, Sleepwalk with Me, which is a Mike Birbiglia film that came out a couple years back, and I've seen the live show and listened to the audio of the one-man show he did, but I never watched the movie. Watched it last night, and it is very inspiring. Great movie. That is my pick of the week if you're looking for a fun indie movie to watch that kind of inspires you in some way. So check that out, Sleepwalk with Me, Mike Birbiglia. It's on Netflix, streaming right now. And with all that stuff out of the way, I do want to introduce this episode as a special one. This is me going one-on-one in what I'm going to call Buds Battles. So every once in a while, when I can get one guest of merit, I will go one-on-one with them in some topics. So they'll write 10 questions for me, I'll write 10 questions for them, and we'll do a bunch of BSing and have a good time. This very first Buds Battle is against my good friend Pat Francis. He is the host of the Rock Solid podcast, and he is known as the third chair on the Never Not Funny Jimmy Pardo podcast. He's a good friend, and his wife Pilar Alessandra teaches screenwriting all around the world, and she wrote a book called The Coffee Break Screenwriter, which just came out in its second volume, so check that out. I'm a co-host on her podcast every once in a while. So on the page, check out her podcast, Rock Solid, check out Pat's, and check out this one today, a Buds Battle between me and Pat in Tom Cruise and Arnold Schwarzenegger trivia. Here we go. I am sitting here with one good friend of mine. Usually I have 2 people sitting across from me. Sometimes they are my brothers. Sometimes they are cousins. Sometimes they are friends themselves. But this is a special episode. I'm sitting across from my buddy, Mr. Pat Francis. How you doing, Pat?
I'm good. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm great. Thanks for having me over in your house. This is like, you have such a nice house. You have like a ski lodge retreat.
Upstairs.
Yeah, it's like a totally different design than the rest of the house. I feel like we're on vacation.
We rarely come up here. I'm not kidding.
Really?
When the girls have sleepovers, they'll go, "Can we sleep upstairs?" So they come up here. But
cool.
Whenever guests come, this is where This is
the guest wing.
Yeah.
Very good.
We call it the grandparents' quarters.
There are no dogs wandering around. I heard one barking outside. You do have a cat.
We have a cat, but she doesn't bark.
And you've never been a pet person, have you? This is the first pet you've had?
First pet we've had. We've had her for 2 years and love her.
And what made you decide to get a cat?
Well, when the girls turned 10, they were allowed to get a pet.
Okay.
So my oldest daughter, she got birds. Mm-hmm. And 4 years later, it was my youngest daughter's turn.
Yeah.
And I said nothing, no rodent looking things.
Yeah.
So
no
she
wheels.
wanted to she's like, bunnies, I want to get bunnies. So I went and looked into that, and that was going to be a
whole thing.
disaster.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just didn't know what to do. We didn't want more birds. Fish are useless.
Yeah.
And after seeing how horrible the bunnies were going to be, I said, I don't know. I would probably be open to getting a cat before. Because I know that a cat goes in its litter box and you don't have to bathe it. It grooms itself. And, they're pretty self-sufficient. You just feed them and clean the litter box.
So now you're a cat guy.
I'm a total cat guy. It's crazy.
You want to hear a sad story about me and a pet? Mm-hmm. I didn't have a pet my whole life. And a girl broke up with me in high school. Mm-hmm. And my mom said, Rye, you need a friend. She goes, you should go buy a fish. And I'm like, what? I was 17. I'm like, what am I going to do with a fish? I went out and bought a fish. I named it Sharky. It's dead in 2 weeks. Isn't that just terrible?
I don't, and I'm your friend, so who knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks?
You might not be here.
I know.
You
better get this posted before I pass.
I brought up the idea of dogs because on my way over to your house, we were supposed to do this about a half hour ago, and I stopped because there were 2 stray dogs right by my house, just wandering around, like having a great adventure, like a homeward bound type thing.
Yeah.
Found them, got their leashes, their collars had their number on them, called the lady. She was like, yeah, I'm at work in NC now. I could be there in like 30, 35 minutes. And I'm like, come on, lady. Like, there's nobody at your house. Or she gave me her address. Me and a groomer, a lady in like a mobile grooming truck stopped. She had leashes. She brought the dogs over. We went to this house. So I'm hanging out with this groomer for the last half hour in this amazing backyard. The dogs got in the backyard and jumped in a pool.
How'd you get in the person's backyard? Was it just open?
Gates, just easy to open gates.
All right, we're going to hit that place next week.
We can go swimming.
Probably have some great TVs and stuff.
Yeah, but it was just interesting to be in someone's backyard with another stranger, just BSing with her, talking about. She's like, "Yeah, I groomed Denise Richards' dogs. She has 32 dogs." And I'm like,
"No, where?" Where does she keep 32 dogs?
Her estate, I guess. But she recovered. As soon as they are healthy, people adopt them from her. So she doesn't have 32 all the time, but at one time she had 32.
Oh, she's not acting. She might as well do something.
Yeah. And, she said David Boreanaz's dogs. Angel's dogs. Yeah. That was my first extra role out here. I was a Cerberus employee on Bones.
And what was your what was your role again? Say it again.
Cerberus employee.
What's that? What's Cerberus?
Some sort of company on the show. All right. That was an ongoing company, kind of like
business attire?
Yes. I had to wear a lanyard.
Okay.
You could see me in the episode. But that was a big deal. I was like, I'm going to be on Bones, season 15 or whatever it was at the time.
It's so funny when I would do extra work, because I did a lot of it when I moved out here. And people that do extra work, they really think they're going to be in the scene. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're walking by the camera. Like, so you're a blur. You're not, the camera's on those 2 people. It's not panning around looking for you.
My mission was to watch where the camera was and then purposely walk in front of it.
Well, that's a good idea.
Did you do that?
I didn't, but there's a great story Jim Belushi told one time on a talk show. Mm-hmm. He was in a Brian De Palma film that was filmed in Chicago called The Fury. Okay. It's a horror film.
Okay.
And there's a beach scene, and he was an extra. And he kept doing that, and they showed the clip of it, and he walks one way, and then 2 seconds later he walks back through, and then he's in the background and the foreground, and it is hysterical. It's like, oh my God.
I was in Stranger Than Fiction in 2005 in Chicago. They were filming it, and Will Ferrell runs out of a huge building and pushes through crowds of 200 people to get to this phone that's ringing. He's wearing a bright red sweater, and we're all wearing real drab clothing, so he stands out. Yeah. So me and my friend Steve Nelson we're running through, and we could see he's pushing people out of the way, and the camera is backing up with him, and I'm like, we got to get him to push us out of the way.
Yeah.
So we would run up and just kind of stand near where he would be at, and then just walk in place until he came up and pushed you out of the way, because I'm like, we got to get pushed out of the way in this movie.
Just to get touched by Will Ferrell.
Yeah, didn't work. Did not make it.
Did not make it.
You can see us for a very split second somewhere else, but...
Well, I did extra work on the movie Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And they needed us there for 6 weeks.
A couple extra groundhogs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They needed us there for 6 weeks because the movie takes place over and over the same day. And they needed to have the same people over and over and over and over.
That's probably a good extra gig. That's probably the best.
That was a great extra gig.
One of the best you can get.
It was amazing.
Or like Edge of Tomorrow. Where
that's
it's just
true.
reoccurring over and over again.
But it was, that was great. It was really, by the time when we actually saw the movie in the theater, I felt like I had seen the whole entire movie. You know what's weird? People might not know this. You know the actor now, Michael Shanahan? He played Zod in the Man of Steel?
Yes.
He's in Groundhog Day.
What does he do?
There's a scene towards the end where there's a big dance, and there's this young couple that are just getting married. He's like a teenager in it. He's like 18.
And you know that for a fact, or you just think it looks like him?
No, it's him. Like someone said, I read, Michael Shanahan's in Groundhog Day. I'm like, where? And then I looked, I'm like, oh my God, that is him. But I mean, he wasn't Michael Shanahan then. He was just, but I remember I was there for that scene. So
I got one for you. Dana Carvey, Halloween 2. Have you ever heard that?
No.
He's like a cameraman to a reporter.
Oh my God.
And his scene got cut out, but I think he's in it for a very split second, like, if you really look. But yeah, he was super young. I think he was a teenager.
That's the best.
And Halloween 2, yeah.
Paul Newman's The Verdict. Bruce Willis, I think, is in the jury box.
Really?
Yes.
That's I love that little stuff that you find out.
Yeah.
That's always fun to hear. I should preface before we get into any more stuff that this is a special episode of the podcast where I'm going one-on-one with a good friend of mine. So it's called the Buds Battle. Ooh. And you and I have prepared trivia for each other.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you questions.
And I got 10 questions for you. And we'll go back and forth, and whoever wins is the better friend.
Okay.
All right. And then also gets to keep the cat. So I might be taking the cat. I might be taking that cat home.
Oh no. My questions aren't that hard.
You and I know each other. I first heard your voice, Pat, in a dream. No, it was on the Never Not Funny podcast. When I was doing comedy full-time around the Midwest, I would drive around, and podcasts were just getting popular, so I would listen to ones that caught my eye.
And you said, who's this dick?
I'll tell you what. I was listening to that show, and I liked the format of the show and just how it was just people talking, but it was really funny. And Jimmy's crowd work and all that stuff put into a podcast form. And then I remember you were a guest on the show, and it was, like Pat Francis. I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, right.
And then after one episode, I'm like, what's that guy doing? Like,
right.
I'm like, they don't.
Of course.
The whatever episode I listened to, it did not seem like they liked you. And I'm like,
wow,
why don't they?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is he even on here?
I just remember going like, they really are, like, I don't know if they were making fun of you for one particular thing, but the very first time I heard you on the show, I'm like, they don't even seem like they like that guy.
Yeah.
Then the next time you came on, I was like, oh, he has a certain style of jumping into these conversations. And then by the third one, I'm like, these are my favorite episodes.
Oh, okay,
when
great.
Pat's on, you know what I mean?
I've been on more than any other guest. I can tell you that right now.
In a basic season, what are you on, twice usually, 3 times?
Yeah, and then a lot of the live shows too,
and Podcastathon, and all that
Podcastathon.
Stuff.
So Jimmy always goes, "You're on for 12 hours in a row, so shut your mouth."
Yeah, so I began to really like those episodes. Then I think you had mentioned in an episode that your wife, Pilar Alessandra, is a screenwriting coach, and she would be in Chicago for some events. And I don't know if you were with her or you were just advertising.
I was not with her. No.
Yeah, but I was like, I was just starting to write a lot of screenplays and stuff, and there was a rewrite class for a draft of a screenplay. I took it. I think it was like $100 or something. I'm like, I could do that for a couple hours. And I went down, and I got a friend named Scott King to take it with me, and Pilar was really thankful for that. And then that sparked a relationship. She gave us her book for free. I used her book to write everything that I've written since then. When I moved out to LA in October 2012, I said, hey, Pilar, would I be able to come and sit in on a podcast? And she goes, why don't you be a guest? She goes, I'm having Murray Valeriano and Pat Francis, my husband, on to talk about comedians who are screenwriters and how to insert jokes and things into work that you.
I remember that.
And that was my first month out here, and that was 4 years ago this month.
And now you're one of her rotating producers.
And now I'm in her house.
And I'm
going to take that cat.
You're going to take that cat.
I work on her show On the Page, and a lot of cool friendships have formed from that. People take me to lunch because they're just like, hey, Pilar's probably busy.
That's how the podcast world is.
Right? They're like, Pilar's probably busy. I bet I could pick this guy's brain.
Yeah.
And I love meeting people and all that good stuff. And you've been really kind to me and gotten me on a lot of fun things out here. Just, being able to sit in on Podcastathon on the day after Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff. And you and I have become friends. We have a lot of the same interests.
Yeah.
You'll be cleaning out your garage, and you're like, I have some Batman toys.
So come over here with your wallet.
Come over here with your wallet.
I give you a great deal.
And I have some very cool stuff. I have literally every Batman the Animated Series figure in a glass case at home that I assembled from IKEA. And I just basically took them from your garage and put them in the case.
You tell your daughter that these are Daddy's toys.
These are Daddy's toys. You cannot have these.
These are not to play with.
I have a Ravishing Rick Rude figure. And to be honest, it's wearing pink pants because he wore pink spandex pants. So she plays with it with her Barbies. And I'm like, hey, just don't break a leg off.
Easy.
You can do it easy.
And you're a big wrestling fan, so you were quite jealous a couple weeks ago when The Rock responded to my tweet.
And I didn't know about that. Ashley, my wife, said, Did you see who retweeted Pat?
Yeah.
And I said, who? Batman himself? And she said, no.
Close.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Get out of here.
No
and
way.
it was
It was
What was it? It was a
he
political
said,
post. You need to run for president, The Rock, something like that.
Yeah, I just said something like this election's getting me down. I wish The Rock was running for president. And then he responded like, I woke up today with a lot of fun tweets, like this one.
Yeah. So cool.
It was cool. Someone told me that because I'm verified on Twitter now. That's right. Someone said when you're verified,
who'd you have to sleep with to do that?
Mrs. Twitter. Actually, Mr. Twitter.
Mr. Twitter.
Yeah. But someone told me that when you're verified, your things will like go right into people's feeds that.
Oh, really? Because of the check mark.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds also liked one of my tweets this weekend.
You know, Ryan Buds did one time.
Yes, Ryan Buds did. But Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And Ryan Buds is not.
Just dead.
Just dead.
In this trivia
dead
contest.
in a pool. You could have been dead in a pool earlier.
Earlier today
one
with
of those dogs taken out. What kind of dogs were they, by the way?
Like a Labrador and a black pit bull, maybe?
Oh, boy, I don't like a pit bull.
You don't like them?
No, I'm a breedist.
A breedist?
Yeah.
Oh, you only like certain breeds?
I dislike certain breeds.
Yeah. You're like, I like
no,
any
I was
breed
cornered
that's not
by a pit
cat.
bull once.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are you talking about the rapper?
No.
You had a little beef with him?
Nope.
You're down in Florida?
He's Mr. Worldwide. No, I was. I used to do when I first moved out here. I would do kids parties.
Yeah.
And
Wait, what would you do at kids parties?
You would do some magic tricks. You make balloon animals, you paint faces,
Really?
cut the cake.
Can you do all that stuff pretty well?
I could at the time.
The stuff of a clown without putting the clown stuff on.
Yeah, and I would be whatever character they wanted. I did tons of Barney at the time.
Oh, really?
But I was Batman. They did all kinds of characters.
How do you do the magic tricks in the Barney costume? That's got to be tough.
It's tricky.
Where would you get the costume, the suits from?
I would go to it was a company called Characters Kids Love.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to say that. You can say it all together. You can just say it individually.
Did they do the horrible company thing where they spell everything with a K to make the acronym terrible?
They didn't do that. Because love with a K would be Cove.
Oh, yeah. That wouldn't work.
But
don't you always wonder why companies do that? Sometimes it's like kids care kindest.
Yeah,
and you're like,
that doesn't work for me. But I did a lot of celebrities parties. I did, Paul Reiser and Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue. And
Paul Reiser's kids' birthdays?
Yeah.
Or just Paul Reiser's?
Just Paul Reiser loves Barney. But yeah, so the people who I would go to their house to pick up the costumes. They had all these costumes. Because you would drop them off at the end of the weekend, and they would clean them, have them dry cleaned and all that stuff. And then you would pick them up on Friday. Uh-huh. And they had a dog. I remember his name, Charlie.
Yeah.
Pit bull, big dog. And I would see him every single time I would go. Yeah. Every single time, pet him on the head. Hey, Charlie, never made a peep. And then one day, I walk into their backyard. I shut the gate behind me. I have all my stuff in my hand, and he comes around the corner, just
ready to brawl.
The teeth are bared. He's like, and I was like, Charlie. I'm like, and I was really, my heart was beating out of my chest because I'm like, what the F?
And there was nobody else around?
No, so then I'm like, hello, hey, and then finally their assistant, I forget what her name was, she came around and just whapped him right on the snout and went,
really?
Yeep, yeep, yeep. He just, and I was like, oh my God. And then from then on, I just left my costumes, like I would just lay them over the fence.
My gosh.
I would tell them, I'm not.
You think that dog was jealous? You think he's like, I'm the entertainer. I can do this thing.
Well, I was dressed like Lassie. So, yeah, I don't know what. And then, and I've seen there's pit bulls across the street, and I saw them corner the mailman one day. I mean, it's just like, I'm just like, I'm just like,
I'm
skittish. I'm skittish with that breed.
I gotcha. Now, you and I, we live pretty close to each other out in this part of the valley.
Yep.
What's your favorite thing about living around this area? You got a lot of nice stores. You got a Whole Foods. You got a Trader Joe's.
I mean, when people find that we live out in the Woodland Hills area, they'll be like, all the way out there.
Right.
But once you live out here, it's not far.
And I prefer it because you're removed from all the crap.
I prefer it too.
You're in Canyon Country.
Like this is I feel like we live in a neighborhood here.
We do. Yeah. It's very nice.
It's nice. It's quiet.
I walked over here with Annabelle, and you have a little swing set, so we got to play in the swing set. It was great.
Your daughter did not like me. Kids usually like me, and she was just not enjoy me at all.
I bet you she would now, because she will. I mean, usually women, but like we'll be at a store, she'll go up and put her arms up to like a Armenian grandmother, and just like
I need to dress like Medea the next time.
I just saw Medea Boo.
And you saw that because it's a Halloween movie, or because you like Medea?
Because it was a Halloween movie.
Okay, because you're all about Halloween.
Movie. Yeah, and it was garbage. Terrible.
Oh, really?
So bad.
Were people cracking? But you said people were laughing.
Harder than I've ever seen anybody laugh in my life.
Well, there's people who are deplorable.
They should be stopped.
Was it a full theater?
Pretty full.
Number one at the box
Number one
office.
beat Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher was beaten by Vidya.
Jack Reacher's not
if
that
you,
good. Jack Reacher's not good.
Oh, it's not? You saw it? I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I saw it.
Did you like one?
I loved it.
Oh, really? I heard someone say they loved one, they liked two better.
2 is very generic.
Okay.
And there's
The trailer looks pretty generic.
and they saved. It felt like they said, "Look, we've got Tom for 2 months.
Yeah.
If we want to do this, we need to do it right now."
Yeah.
And there's so much exposition at the beginning of it. It's like, who's that? That's Jack Reacher. Hey, I thought he was blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was, but he's back now. I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
We saw the first one. You don't need all this.
Sure.
And the cast, it's Tom Cruise and Kobe Smulders. And then everyone else, it's like the D-list. Like people I've never seen.
Yeah.
Like the first movie had Robert Duvall and Werner Herzog and David Oyelowo, I think that's how you say his name.
The son from
and it had Richard Jenkins, and it had who's the blonde girl that was in
Gone Girl.
She was in Gone Girl. What's her name? But I mean, it had
Sure.
and Jai Courtney was in. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people.
that had a cast.
Yeah.
This was like, oh, they're saving money here on.
Yeah.
So and like, there's a line where they're like, the one guy goes, "Who are you?" And Tom Cruise goes, "Someone you weren't counting on." And I'm like, oh, that's no. It was like it took a total dip from the first one.
It's a little annoying.
I still liked it, but it's about a 6.5.
Gotcha.
And I thought the other one was a 9. I give it a 9. Actually, I really thought the first one was great.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when he gets hit with bats, like for real in the first one.
Gets
You're
stunned.
like, holy cow.
Yeah, and he'll like take a
It's not like he's getting hit in the stomach. He's getting hit in the head with a bat.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God. I kind of love, kind of hate how often they're like, oh, there's Reacher. Like, damn you, Reacher.
I know.
It's so over the top, but you kind of like it. You know, it's kind of like that Roadhouse cheese to it.
Yeah.
You're like, I kind of like it.
I want to punch the people that tell me, I read the books, and in the books he's 6'6",
Yeah.
and I always say, yeah. Well, when a 6'6" guy kicks ass, who cares? He better be kicking ass. But when a 5'6" guy does, you're like, oh, that guy's tough.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise, come on, he's a great actor.
My favorite line in that Jack Reacher one is when the 5 guys want to fight him, and he goes, "Remember, you wanted this."
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a great line.
Best line. And then he whoops all their asses.
Yeah, all right.
Fantastic.
Can we swear on here? I don't want to swear.
You can swear all you want.
All right.
You can MF pit bulls as long as you want.
All right.
It's going to be a good time. We will get into the trivia portion. I want to talk about the topics that you gave me first. So we'll start with your 5, and then we'll talk about my 5.
I forget what your 5 are.
That's okay. I
Do
forget.
you remember what they were? I remember
No.
2 of them.
That's fine. We can talk about that. So I reached
Women's
out to you.
clothing was one.
Sure. Jack Reacher quotes.
Jackson, yes.
These are the 5 you gave me back because I asked you about you were going to be the first guest in the podcast.
I couldn't do that.
And couldn't do it.
I wasn't going to. I didn't want to. Yeah, I
didn't want to bring it down too quick.
No.
So this was a while ago, and I reached out, and you said Cheap Trick.
Yeah, that's the band I'd say is my favorite band, and even though I don't listen to them a lot anymore,
Yeah.
they're still my favorite band.
And you are a big music guy. You have a podcast that we haven't even talked about yet.
Oh yeah, I
called
host
the Rock Solid Podcast.
Rock Solid podcast.
How many episodes are you into that thing?
I think 276 will drop this Thursday.
Never missed a
at
week.
the time of recording. Never missed a week.
276. That's 4 years. 5 years? Almost 5 years.
We're in our 6th year.
Oh my God, that's insane.
And I have 4 rotating co-hosts: Christy Stratton, April Richardson, Mike Siegel, and Murray Valeriano. And then I will have guest co-hosts come in, like David Wild, writer for Rolling Stone magazine and producer of the Grammys.
You
Has
let
been
me
on
guest
many
host
times.
an episode with the drummer from the Bengals.
Yes, you sat in as a producer and co-host, and we had Debbie Peterson from the Bengals.
That was so cool.
But I've had some great guests: Melissa Etheridge, Sammy Hagar, John Waite.
Oh, the Sammy Hagar episode. I sent that link to a lot of my brothers are 10 and 12 years older than me,
Yeah.
and they grew up loving Sammy Hagar and Van Halen and everything. So they love that episode, and they're like, I think they checked out more because of that.
Yeah, Susanna Hoffs. But I mean, I've had I've been lucky. Lots of guests come on, and I just I love it. It's
a good
fun.
time.
It's really fun. I love doing it.
I love the show, and you've been doing it for a long time. So if people like rock music or music in general, check it out.
Because it's
on
funny
iTunes,
too.
it's on everything.
We have laughs.
Yeah, a lot of laughs.
We try to have some laughs. We don't take it too seriously. We're not. It's not that show where we're like where we're like talking about music like it's a meticulous thing. You know, listen to this part here. And, like,
you play a lot of music too.
We play tons of music.
You play a lot of music throughout.
Yeah, we play like 30 to 45 seconds of songs. Like,
that's awesome.
For example, this week our topic is man, woman, child. And at the time of this record.
Yeah.
And Christy Stratton, she's a writer on Modern Family.
Yeah.
She's one of my rotating co-hosts. And we just play our favorite songs that have the word either man, woman, and child in the title of the song.
That's good. And I should probably mash up with you for some trivia round ideas because I don't ever mind writing questions. I always run out of rounds to do.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect one right there.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll do, movies with a color in the title or songs with whatever. But I should mash up with some of the episode themes you've done. By
the time this episode drops, another episode I have coming up with Murray Valeriano, who we just mentioned, is the Rock and Roll Laundry Basket. And that's songs that have an item of clothing in the title. Oh. And that can be sneakers, shoes, coat, hat, shirt, skirt. I mean,
that's really cool too.
I mean, looking for songs, I found stockings, I found nightgown in a song. I mean, it's crazy.
That's very cool. So check out Pat's podcast. Pat loves Cheap Trick. Who are some of your other favorite musicians or bands of all time?
Oh, band of all time, it's so hard. I love the British Invasion. I love the Kinks, the Who.
I was going to say one of your other 5 topics was the Kinks. I should mention.
The Kinks, the Who, the Stones. I love. I have an affection for John Bon Jovi. And I love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And I love the Bangles. I mean,
sure.
It's getting to the point where because from doing my music podcast for so long, I kind of just. And every band I love, it's hard to almost put them in order anymore. If I'm one of those people, if I loved you at the beginning, I'm there till the end. I really am with music.
A loyal fan.
I'm a loyal fan with music.
You're a big Monkees fan?
I am. I just saw the Monkees.
Saw them?
Yeah. But I just became them. I was always a fan of the Monkees hits, but then they had a brand new album out this year and I picked it up and I love it. It's my favorite album.
It's pretty good.
It's my favorite album of this year. So
how many are left of the Monkees?
3.
3. Okay.
So then I was like, well, I wonder if I'd like another Monkees album. So I bought another one.
Yeah.
I like that. And I bought another one. And now I own every album.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm a physical CD person.
Like, you still like them.
I have, when I say I have this album now, I have it.
You have a very impressive room right behind you with, I would say, dozens and dozens and dozens of framed LPs that you've had signed by the musicians.
Yes.
What's your favorite, most cherished one or the hardest one you had to get?
My most cherished one... Well, the Springsteen one is cool, and the Tom Petty one is cool, and probably I have Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey.
Yeah.
So as far as my interaction with someone,
sometimes it's hard to get them to sign stuff, right? Or just to even get them to stop.
Yeah. Like Tom Petty signed like 4 things and then dropped the pen and jumped in the bus. So as far as interaction goes, I never, like, people say, what was it like to meet Bruce Springsteen? I'm like, I didn't meet Bruce Springsteen. I stood there and he held my thing out and he signed it.
Yeah.
But I did, the 2 best interactions were Steve Perry from Journey and Art Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel. But the Art Garfunkel one was just last year. I waited after his show at the Will Turn. It was like me and like 4 other people were waiting. And then I spied him coming out.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything to those 4 people. I just made a beeline to his car.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking towards him, I have my albums in my hand and he sees me and he goes, you waited all this time? And I said, yes. And he said, well, come over here. I mean, it was like, he's like in his 70s and it was like, and he was like so sweet and gracious. And we talked for like 20 minutes.
Wow. And did the other people come over too? Or they didn't?
No.
They never saw.
No, well, when I left, as I passed him, I go, he's back there. And then they went back. But no one came over. It was just him and I. And he said to me, he goes, bear with me. I had a lot of wine after the show, so I'm a little drunk. And so he kind of just leaned up against the car. But I was just talking about music and what his music meant to me. And he goes, I can tell you're a true fan because you're asking all the right questions. And you're saying all the right things. It was really great. Like,
that's awesome.
I think I could have stayed there for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And he would have just kept talking.
You think you could ever get him to do the podcast if you talked to him again?
I tried, and his because I got free tickets from his PR person. So I tried to get him on the show, and his PR person said, he goes, I'm not even BSing you. When Art Garfunkel's on tour, he doesn't even talk during the day.
Oh, really?
Because he has to save his voice.
Oh my gosh.
But at the show that night, we were in the 4th row, me and Mike Siegel. And Mike's like, how'd we get these fourth row tickets? And I said, well, I contacted the PR person and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him this whole story. And the guy next to me leans over, he goes, who told you that Art doesn't talk the entire day? I go, his PR person. And then the guy goes, yeah, that's me.
Oh.
And I go, oh my God, thanks for these tickets. And he was by himself. I go, are you here with anyone? He goes, yeah, my in-laws are 10 rows back. And Mike and I both said at the same time, well, do you want them to move up here? He goes, no, we're good.
That's classic. That's awesome. Do you find yourself in the situation where you are befriending other people, waiting for the autograph, and then you do have to do a little bit of a betrayal where you're like, I'm going to go over here real quick?
All the time. Yeah. And I see a couple guys, the same guys all the time. And there's one guy that I hate. Like, I feel he ruins it every time.
Because he's kind of a dick about it.
He's kind of a dick. Once he comes up and starts talking to you, and I don't want to talk. I've literally, like, he'll be in mid-sentence, and I've literally just walked away from him. It would be him and me.
Yeah.
Because he, like, wants to start telling you all the stuff he knows about music. You know, in 1977, the first pressing of that. And I don't give a shit because I hate this guy.
This is the most powerful moment of his life.
Yeah, and I hate him.
To do this. Yeah,
His name's James. I hate him.
You hear that, James? He's my one listener.
Whenever I see him, I go, that's the guy. Hey, let's get out of here.
I love striking up a conversation with a person working at a gas station, in an empty gas station. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm trying to put a little spark in their day, maybe tell a joke or something, and you're like, okay, this is a genuine thing. But for some reason, I cannot stand the forced camaraderie of being in line at like Six Flags, and the dad in front of you is like, what there? I'm like, listen, we all have to be in this line. Like, I don't really want to talk to you for the next hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the worst.
When there's a time commitment to it, I'm like, I almost am super annoyed. The elevator quick, the people making friends. I'm like, we're going to be in this elevator for 30 seconds.
I mean, you could get lucky and find someone in that line that makes the line go quickly, but that's slim.
Sure. It's usually an annoying dad.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm the annoying dad.
Yeah. Right? Well, someone told me once, because I loved the American Office and the British Office.
Yeah.
But I saw Steve Carell on a talk show once, and he goes, there's a Michael Scott in every office. He goes, and if you don't think your office has a Michael Scott, you're probably the Michael Scott. Yeah.
That's true. Your next thing on your list was Batman. You and I, like we talked about it, you gave me your Batman toys.
Yep. Batman fan.
You just saw the Batman 66
animated movie.
It's great. And you thought it was awesome.
I thought it was really great.
8.5.
8.5, yeah, or a 9. I mean, it was really good. They pretty much hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
For the entire thing. Yeah.
I'm excited to meet. I'm going to meet Adam West and Burt Ward and Julie Newmar this weekend at Kamikaze.
Cool.
That's going to be a good time.
The only thing I wish I talked about this with my nephew and a friend of yours, Kyle. I think he said this, not me, but he said they should have, since the 60s series opened with an animated credit sequence. He wished that they would have opened this with a live action credit sequence.
Oh, that would have been really clever.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Do you think they should have used Adam West?
I think it would have been hysterical if they did Adam West and Burt Ward the way they look now.
Cool.
Yeah,
I bet you they're like could barely get the voices, let alone them to actually do it. But that's great. Your last topic was we talked about the Kinks and then Tom Cruise.
Yes,
a big Tom Cruise fan.
Yeah, he's my favorite actor.
Really, of all time,
without a doubt.
You own a lot of his movies.
I bet I can tell you. It'll be easier for me to tell you the ones I don't own.
Have you ever met him?
No.
You should try and get his autograph, like you do with these records.
This was going to be a weird story, and it'll sound like it's false.
Okay.
Well, because the reason it will sound okay. One Father's Day, we went to this is when Sarah was little, and I don't think we had Rita yet. We went to Santa Monica Pier for Father's Day just to hang out, you know. And on the drive there, in my head, I thought to myself, I'm going to see Tom Cruise today.
Why?
I don't know.
It just popped in.
But see, the thing is, I didn't say that to anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm just a crazy person.
You put it out there, and they say when you put it out there, though, it might happen.
Well, so we get there, and he's there.
Sure.
He's there with his two kids, and it had to be his sister because they looked similar, and her husband. And he just had a baseball hat on, and he was just playing the games.
Really?
And they're just walking around. No one was bothering them.
That's great.
But I was like, and I turned to my wife and I go, I wish I would have said this in the car.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to see Tom Cruise today.
Yeah. Did you go up to him or anything? Nothing?
No, because it was literally Father's Day. Sure. Really, it was that day was Father's Day.
Yeah.
So, no.
When you live out here and you kind of are around more celebrities and the idea of them being everywhere, I feel like you're less inclined. Like I'm like I almost go, I'll see him again. I don't need to bug this person.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it'll be fine.
I've met so many people out here. It's crazy how many people you get to meet. And through Never Not Funny, I've met so many people.
So many cool people.
Yeah.
So that was your last topic. It was Tom Cruise. So Cheap Trick, Batman, MASH, The Kinks, and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So now why don't we talk about the things that I gave you? I'm going to try and find an email really quickly. Do you remember any of the topics
You told me Stephen King books.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Stephen King books.
You told me.
I haven't even read that many Stephen King books. I've read Misery. I just read one called, I don't even remember the name of it. Joyland. It was like a crime noir.
I've only ever read two. I read The Dark Half, and I read Carrie, and maybe I read another one. But yeah, I used to be in the Stephen King book club where you would get the hardback book.
Yeah.
Once
a month?
You get one every month, and then once you had them all,
yeah.
Then whenever a new one would come out, it would be sent to you. And those looked so awesome on the shelf.
Oh, I bet.
And I never read.
Do you still have them?
No, I sold them all.
Sold them. My next topic I gave you is Blink-182.
Yep.
Big fan of the Blink-182. I have seen them more times in concert than any other group.
Is that your favorite band then?
I didn't listen to them for probably like the last decade, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, they weren't really doing anything last decade.
Yeah, they put out an album called, I think, Neighborhoods that was just not very good.
And then didn't Mark and Travis did that Plus 44 album?
Yeah, Plus 44.
Which sounded like Blink,
yeah,
kind of.
A lot of their side projects kind of sound very similar. And then they kind of caught my interest again because they took this lead singer, this other band that I grew up with called Alkaline Trio from Chicago, a guy named Matt Skiba, who's got an awesome voice. And they were like, we're going to replace Tom, who left the band, with Matt. And this new album's called California, I think it's called California.
Yeah.
It was really good and a lot of cool songs. The only thing I would say is that it's like almost too California heavy. Like there's a song called San Diego. There's a song called Los Angeles. There's a song called California.
Yeah, boy.
So it's very, and then the chorus of all those songs is just saying the places. So it's like, all right, we get it.
We get it, guys.
You like it out here on the West Coast, but I'm surprised there's no Woodland Hills song on there. You know what I mean?
They should have just called that album Best Coast.
Yeah, Best West Coast, Best Coast. The other topic I gave you was Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen most of them. I remember back when torrents first came out, and I was in college.
When what came out?
Torrents, like for downloading.
Oh yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Everybody in college.
I can never figure that out. I think because I'm too old.
I have not done one since college, pretty much. But in college, there was an Arnold Schwarzenegger torrent, and it was every movie in like a zip folder.
What was the quality like?
Like DVD quality,
right.
like not like watchable, but we had to watch them on the computer or whatever.
Isn't it funny how DVDs now are just like coasters? Like they're like, brand new, $3.
Oh my God. I bought a guy's, I give away DVDs at a lot of my trivia nights for prizes.
Yeah.
I bought a guy's, or a woman was selling like a huge DVD collection, probably 200 movies.
Wow.
And she goes, $5 a piece. And I was like, I'll give you 70 for the whole thing. She's like, sold. So I got 200 DVDs.
Wait,
and I go,
$5 a piece would have been
$1,000.
$1,000,
right? Yeah.
and she took $70.
$70. And then she goes, I go, where'd you get all these? She goes, oh, it's my son's collection. And I'm like, does he know you're selling these? Because there was a lot of like, I was like, it seems weird for this older lady. They have, so much porn. But some of the movies, also, I always am surprised at the movies people buy, like at Blockbuster. When I worked at Blockbuster, people would come in and buy a brand new movie that just came out. They wouldn't rent it. They'd buy it. It'd be like $28.99 because it was Blockbuster. And it would be like the DVD of Brothers Grimm with the Heath
Chucky
Ledger.
5.
Yeah, and you're coming to Blockbuster to buy this.
Yeah. You're not buying Godfather.
No, and it's so expensive. And
Yeah.
they would and I'm like, I think it's the people that are. There's some very casual movie fans who are just like, I'll watch any movie, which I think is crazy. You know what I mean?
Just buy them. That way, if we want to watch them again, but you're never going to watch that again.
Sure. And then I guess back in the day, like when there were way less movies to consume, that maybe would have made more sense. Like, we'll just buy, like, we heard that Chevy Chase one's good. We'll go buy some Chevy Chase movie or whatever. But like now, there's so much
No one has
stuff.
said that in 30 years. That Chevy Chase movie's good.
Yeah, it's a good Chevy Chase film. Another topic I gave you was...
I'd be like, oh yeah, we bought the Rundown with The Rock.
Yeah, the Rundown. Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, Tooth Fairy.
Nintendo games. I told you about that. Are you a gamer? You play games?
No.
Never?
No. I mean, the girls have a Wii, and sometimes I'll
You approve, you just don't participate.
And they don't play it much either, though.
Oh,
but
really?
I mean, I'll play the Mario Kart and stuff. But no, I'm not a gamer at all.
Did you see that new Nintendo Switch they announced?
No.
It's called Nintendo Switch. The controllers slide off the side of the system, and you can play. There's like 20 ways to play the system. You can play it like a tablet. You can play it on a TV. You can take the whole thing with you and bring it like on a plane and give a controller to the person next to you and play Mario Kart like on a plane. You can play, for the first time ever, like the console version of the games anywhere instead of like having the Game Boy version, which is way less technology and stuff. So it's kind of interesting that they do that.
I'm surprised how much time I waste when I think I'm actually doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine just like people tell me, I got this brand new game. And before I knew it, it was 5 a.m. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, it is weird.
Even when I was a single guy, I didn't play games.
I'll tell you, I played way more when I was in college. Is the time to do all that lazy stuff in your life, I feel like, right?
Are you supposed to be studying?
You're supposed to, yeah, but when you get I took my classes were Tuesdays and Thursdays. So every weekend it was 4-day weekend, Monday and Friday off.
Well, were you a good student?
B's, I was no one ever.
Did you do the bare minimum to get by?
Not a little bit better than Bear.
All right,
Bear plus.
Okay,
but nobody ever was like, you have to be the best at anything that I ever did. So I just.
You mean your parents?
Yeah, they were. Okay. I was the 5th kid. I think they were just kind of like, yeah, do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? I never got I was never grounded or I was no curfews. Yeah. They were just like, we're done with all that.
I'm amazed how studious that my kids are because we just say, you know what, do your best, try your hardest, you know, and But man, and
they churn out some good work.
Rita has to work a little harder because she's much more social.
Yeah,
like she wants to. Can we go to the mall? But Sarah just it's not a big deal. She just comes home, she does her homework, and she takes it seriously. And we're lucky.
Okay, so those were. Oh no, I think I had one more topic. It was.
This is a 5-hour show.
This is
right?
a 5-hour podcast. Yeah, that's right. Famous dogs, and I just saved a couple. We'll leave it at that.
Famous dogs.
I don't know. I was like Scooby Doo. I could tell you something about Scooby Doo.
All right.
Do you have some famous dog trivia ready for me?
I don't. That's not the one I picked.
That's not the one.
No, I'm only supposed to pick one of those categories.
One of those categories. So I'll tell you. We're going to reveal right now. This is the trivia showdown. This is me versus you. Yes. I got 10 questions for you on Tom Cruise.
All right.
And you got 10 questions for me on?
This is so funny because I have 10 on Arnold Schwarzenegger films.
Really? Oh.
So it's a celebrity.
The battle of the celebrity box office. So we're going to do it. We'll go back and forth. This is the trivia showdown between Pat Francis and me.
Trivia showdown.
And I'm going to kick it off. I'll give you a Tom Cruise question. If you get it right, you get 1 point.
Okay.
And here we go. In what Tom Cruise film does he play a sports agent?
Jerry Maguire.
Okay, that's a nice, easy one to start off.
Just
seeing where you're at. Okay.
All right.
Okay, what do you got? First question for Schwarzenegger.
I don't know if I go in order. I'll just go in order. What is the name of the 1970 film in which Arnold made his acting debut?
I think it's one of two in my head. I'm going to say Hercules, New York.
You got it.
Yeah, there you go. I was Conan's right around there too, right?
Conan's not till 82.
So 2 years later.
No, 12 years later.
Oh, 70.
That's 1970.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did he do between then and then? He didn't do a lot of stuff in the 70s. He was more 80s, right?
I think he was just. I think he was put in there because he was
huge.
Big. I think he was still competing big time.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought those were all around the same time. Your next question, Tom Cruise trivia. What is the only film in which Tom Cruise plays a colonel? Number 2. What is the only film in which Tom Cruise, your boy, plays a colonel?
Colonel.
C-O-L, like the mustard.
I think that's The Last Samurai.
Incorrect. Any other guesses?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, he's not a colonel in Top Gun.
No.
And I guess it was
a little bit more recent.
Few Good Men.
No, a little more recent.
A little more. Oh, Jack Reacher.
Valkyrie.
Geez, he's in a lot of military films now. That I think of it. Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah, I believe that the title of colonel is the only one that he has that in is Valkyrie.
Okay.
Did you like Valkyrie?
I liked it. I own it.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I didn't think it was bad. I think I saw it in
I didn't think it was
theaters.
bad, but I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be great, and it's just good.
Just good. I'm with you on that one. What do you got for number 2?
I'm bummed that I missed one. I thought it was going to have a...
We're jumping in, so it's 1-1.
What are the 3 films Arnold starred in that were directed by Ivan Reitman? Now, is that a cheat
Yikes.
if it's a 3-part question like that?
No, that's fine. I don't even know if I can name one, though. I can't think of, like, who directed certain movies of his. Ivan Reitman. Mm-hmm. Ivan Reitman, is that Animal House? Is that
Yeah.
He did Animal House.
Yep.
Okay. So Ivan Reitman did Animal House.
Nope, he's not in Animal House.
He's
sorry,
not.
Ryan.
Schwarzenegger didn't make a cameo in the food fight scene. Let's see. 3 movies that he directed.
I'll tell you, he has a cameo in Dave, but that's not one of the 3.
Kindergarten Cop.
Yep. I love that movie.
That is a great
I
movie.
really
Did
like
you see the
Kindergarten
sequel,
Cop.
Dolph Lundgren?
I did not.
I turned it off. It's literally the same movie, but worse. Like,
I love the part when he goes and a dad that's abusing his kid.
Yeah.
He goes out.
and then whoops some ass.
And then he comes in and Linda Hunt, it almost makes me cry. I might tear up.
Really?
And she tells him, she's yelling at him, but then she's like, what did that feel like when you punched me?
That's a good scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Ivan Reitman, I'm going to say Junior.
Yep.
I didn't think I was going to be able to pull this off. A third
Yep.
Ivan Reitman movie. Is it a comedy?
Well, it's supposed to be. Is Junior a comedy?
That's a very true story. Jingle All the Way.
No.
Oh, that was a good guess. though, right?
Twins.
Twins. Those were closer.
They're supposed to make a sequel with Eddie Murphy.
I heard about that.
Called Triplets.
Yeah. You think they could work?
Twins and Junior are unwatchable, in my opinion. They're terrible.
The end of Twins, the big pile of chains falls on the guy. That's kind of funny. That's a fun scene. I was also going to guess The Sixth Day for some reason. Do you remember that one? The clone movie?
I do remember that movie.
That had some capery elements to it where I'm like, that could be kind
It's
of a
directed by
comedy.
Roger Spottiswoode.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yeah, I did research when I was putting this thing together.
Interesting. So it's 1-1. We both missed our second question. Here's number 3 for
that's
you.
kind of I feel like I should give that to you.
I got 2 out of 3.
Yeah, name the 10 movies.
Number 3. How many kids does Tom Cruise have? You said a couple of kids earlier.
He has 3 kids. He has 2 with Nicole Kidman and 1 with Katie Holmes.
That is correct. He has 3 children. Well done. Yeah. And you saw the 2 that day. And then
I saw the 2 older kids.
Was that before the other kid was around?
Yeah, I think that was him and Nicole Kidman were separated, and he was with those 2 older kids. I don't think Katie Holmes was in the picture yet.
His kids got to be like in college age now, right? Those older kids?
Yeah, I'm sure he has 0 relationship with them. I like Tom Cruise, the actor, and I think I think if you meet him, he's probably a great guy and enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I think he's off his rocker
weirdo.
too.
My father-in-law is a CHP officer, gets to meet a lot of celebrities, pulled over Snoop Dogg one time. That was kind of fun. But he met Tom Cruise, did some kind of detail at Tom Cruise's house for a party. Mm-hmm. And he said he was the most hospitable, like, have a beer, sit down, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate what you do and that kind of thing. And he said he's the only person in the room. It wasn't like he was showing off to anybody and that kind of thing.
My brother-in-law worked over at Paramount, and he said Tom Cruise is the only actor who, when he does a movie at Paramount, then he hosts a big luncheon for everyone who worked on the film.
Really?
Like the people, not the actors, but and then goes around and glad hands and thank you. The movie wouldn't happen without you. And
that's really cool.
Appreciate it. And
what's that? An extra 6 hours in a day for him? You know what I mean? To go do that, and
he probably just counts that as that's part of my job.
Yeah. That's great.
There was another Tom Cruise story I was thinking of. Oh, Jamie Foxx told this story when the movie Collateral came out.
Love that movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Michael Mann film. Mm-hmm. He, someone asked him, what was it like working with Tom Cruise? He goes, that guy's excited every second of the day. He goes, right before a take, he would grab me around the shoulders and shake me and go, Fox, can you believe it, man? We're making a movie. We're making a movie. He's so excited about every aspect of his job.
That's awesome. You can't ask for a better person in that role, right? So you got number 3, Schwarzenegger.
Is it my turn to ask, or do you ask me? No. Yeah. Okay, yeah. My turn. What is the name of the first sequel Arnold ever starred in?
First sequel he ever starred in. I think there's 2 Conan movies, correct?
Look, you got to give me an answer. You got to give me a title.
Or are there 2 Hercules movies?
You got to say something. You can't speculate all day.
I'm going to say it was, I don't know the name of the sequel, but I will say a Conan sequel.
All right.
Was that right?
Conan the Destroyer.
The Destroyer. So the first one, Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah.
And then the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of in the right mindset there.
Yep.
Number 4 for you. Since October 10th, 2006, what country has declared every October 10th? We just passed it. Tom Cruise Day.
Holy crap.
What country has declared every October 10th Tom Cruise Day since October 10th, 2006? About 10 years.
Germany.
It is Japan.
Why is that?
I don't know. They're crazy. They love entertainers over there.
They love Tom Cruise.
They love Tom Cruise. Can't get
All
enough.
right.
Number 4.
It's a tough question.
Schwarzenegger.
What Arnold Schwarzenegger film features Jim Belushi as Arnold's sidekick?
Oh, boy. The Principal. No. That's a good movie, though. Did you ever see that?
good movie.
Love that movie.
I love
He
that
whoops
movie,
a lot of
too.
ass in that movie.
I like movies where guys kick ass.
Yeah. Jim Belushi. This is the second time he's been brought up this podcast.
I know.
Jim Belushi, and he's in the new Twin Peaks. Have you seen that?
Yeah, and
I saw a featurette. I'm like,
he's
what is
also
he
in
doing?
some Amazon show about these young college, just fresh out of college women. It's a period piece writing for a paper, and they can't get bylines. I forget what it's about, but he's in that too.
Schwarzenegger.
God, I hope Jim Belushi doesn't make a comeback.
Schwarzenegger and Jim Belushi.
My friend, not my friend, I know him, but my comedian Andy Kindler has a joke where he would say, Jim Belushi, who died and made him famous?
Yeah, I saw him do that joke recently at the Nerdist Theater not too long ago. Man, I cannot picture it in my head. Like I'm picturing Jingle All the Way, like Jim Belushi as Phil Hartman's character in that movie or something.
I'm going to say, is Jim Belushi's not in Jingle All the Way?
No, I don't think so.
It's not the one I'm thinking of.
It could very easily could be him.
This movie is awful.
It's an awful movie.
I think it is.
Sidekick. I know it's a kid, but I'm going to say Last Action Hero.
Red Heat.
I've never seen it. Red Heat.
Yeah,
Okay.
filmed in Chicago.
What is the premise of that movie?
I think Jim Belushi's a Chicago cop, and Schwarzenegger's a Russian cop.
Oh, okay.
And he's tracking someone, and they have to work together. Like it's one of those. Like it's like when you saw the trailer back then, after running scared and all those, but you're
cop.
like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
No,
not so much.
Not good.
A Russian cop doing an Austrian accent, of course. Yeah. Okay, number 5. In what film does Tom Cruise have the most soundtrack credits? Let's see if you can get this one. Number 5. In what film does Tom Cruise have the most soundtrack credits?
No, Rock of Ages.
It is Rock of Ages. Yeah. That would have been hard for me to pull, and I would have been pissed that I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Did you like that movie?
He plays Stacey Jacks. I didn't see the movie, but I have seen his parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, oh, really? So you're like, I don't have time for this, but I'll go with the highlight reel?
I knew what it was. I taped it, and then I off of HBO, and then I
Really?
And I don't own that.
Didn't want to watch another second of the movie, just the Tom Cruise.
No, I just wanted to see him sing and act, and
Interesting.
I
wonder how many people have done that. I wonder how many people do that regularly, where they're like, I'm not watching all this crap. I just want to see my man.
Yeah.
You consider him your man, right?
Sure, he's
your
my
guy?
man.
Your guy.
He's my guy. I go see every movie. I go see those movies. I'm serious. I could name. It would be easier for me to name the movies I don't own than the ones I do own.
Interesting. All right, number 5 over on your side.
Now, when we're done, we're going to get down and get to count how many Tom Cruise movies I own.
Okay, we'll take a picture, post it.
All right. What's next? My turn?
Yep, number 5 for you.
How many times have Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone co-starred in a movie together? How many? You don't have to name them. You just have to tell me how many times.
I don't think they had any. I think they're more modern. I don't think they did any back in the day together. So like 80s or 90s.
That's true. They didn't.
So
that would have been great.
I'm gonna say I definitely know the escape room or the escape plan, the prison one.
Yep.
And then
ding 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 ding. That's one.
I'm gonna say the Expendables 2.
Okay.
Was it the Expendables 2?
Yeah, he's in Expendables 2.
The Expendables 3.
Yes, he's in Expendables 3.
I want to say he's not in the first one, but maybe he is based on how you're playing this one. The Expendables 1.
Okay.
So that's 4.
All right.
And that's it. I'm going to say those 4.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right.
Yep, 4
so
times.
The Expendables and the escape.
Yep.
Escape room.
The escape plan.
Escape plan.
It's a horrible movie.
It is. It looked cool. The poster.
I
with them in
know.
the glass box.
I know.
Like, that looks neat.
If you get those two guys in a movie that's not The Expendables, it should be a great movie.
I've never seen any of the Expendables.
Oh my God, Expendables 2 is so ridiculously.
The
lines in it are ridiculous. There's one part where Schwarzenegger, they get in a car, like it's like a smart car, but he tears the door off of it. Okay, he's not the Hulk. He's just a guy. You can't tear a
pumping iron.
Oh my God, you can't tear a thing off. Stupid.
Number 6, Tom Cruise. In Tropic Thunder, what song does Tom Cruise dance to as Les Grossman? What song?
I don't know. I do not know it.
I'll say song or artist.
I don't know it.
Neither.
No.
It's Ludacris. Get Back.
Yeah, I don't know it.
I believe. I didn't look that one up. I went by memory. I believe it's Get Back by Ludacris.
By the way, people, go to YouTube and look up. Tom Cruise was just on the James Corden show promoting Jack Reacher 2, and they do a 9-minute thing where they act out a quick scene from every single Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
They do it in front of a green screen. It is.
I've seen the Tom Hanks one.
Oh, it is great.
Cool.
Oh, I didn't know there was a Tom Hanks one.
Yeah, he did. He started with Tom Hanks, and I think he did someone else.
Oh, it's really cool.
Will Ferrell, maybe.
Yeah, it's really great.
That's awesome. Number 6 on your side.
Name one of the movies Arnold Schwarzenegger has appeared in that features the word "day" in the title.
The Sixth Day.
Yes, because we named it earlier. There's
he in
also
more?
End of Days,
End of Days,
Judgment Day, and he has a cameo in Around the World in 80 Days.
He does.
Yeah.
That's a good trivia question in itself.
Yeah.
I would not know that.
I felt like that was
that's tough.
Knifing you in the back.
End of Days, Robin Tunney. You know that actress?
Yeah.
She went to my high school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Not when I was there, when my sister was there.
She was in that, what was this show with the three sisters on CW? They were
Charmed?
witches?
No.
Charmed.
No. Robin Tunney was on
No,
the
she's not in
The
that.
Mentalist.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, she was on The Mentalist.
Who was the... Yeah, I'm thinking of Rose McGowan.
That's right. Mm-hmm. She's very outspoken these days, Rose McGowan.
About what?
Politics, I believe.
All right.
Here we go. This is number 7 on
So
your side.
I'm outspoken about it too, Rose. No one cares what either one of us has to say.
Who directed Cruise in 1985's Legend?
Oh, Ridley Scott.
I've never seen it. You got it right. Ridley Scott. Great job.
So I had never seen it either.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you always remember is Tim Curry in that great devil
devilish,
makeup. Yeah. So it finally came out on Blu-ray. So I bought it.
Yeah.
Much like that person who bought what was that movie you said?
Brothers Grimm.
And I don't like it at all.
It's a terrible movie.
I don't like it at all. It all looks like it's on a sound stage. I don't quite know what's going on. It's just
my brother said real creepy, real dumb. That's like his two-word review.
I just don't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. So I resold
Don't even
that.
recommend it. Yeah, don't even.
I don't recommend it. No. And I love Ridley Scott. I could have said Ridley Scott films could be one of my topics.
Number 7, Schwarzenegger.
Name the actress who plays Arnold's zombie daughter in the 2015 horror film Maggie.
That's a zombie film?
Yes. His daughter has the disease.
Oh. Is her name Maggie in real life?
No.
Okay.
Wrong. Next question.
Oh, wait. I know who it is. Abigail Breslin.
Yes, you are right.
Yes.
Are we keeping a tally? You're doing pretty good.
I have not been keeping tally. You have gotten every question except Ludacris. Oh, you missed Japan.
So you did not,
Valkyrie. You missed 3.
You didn't name Junior. Mm-hmm. But did I give that? You didn't name Twins, but I gave it to you because it's a 3-parter.
Yeah.
The only one you didn't get Red Heat. Mm-hmm. It's the only one you've only missed 1 out of 7.
Okay, so you've missed 3, I've missed 1.
Yeah.
So I'm winning by a few, but you
need to miss all these, and I need to get them all right.
Let's see what you can do. Right. How many Tom Cruise deaths are shown on screen in Edge of Tomorrow? You have to guess within 3.
Oh, my God.
So you just got a number. If you get within 3, you get the point. How many Tom Cruise deaths are shown on screen in Edge of Tomorrow? Great movie. Loved it. I see Tom Cruise movies with my father-in-law. That's like our bonding
I'm going to say 20.
I'm going to give it to you. It was 16.
I was going to say
4 off.
I was going to say 15.
There's a cool infographic where it explains everyone. Poster.
I was going to say 15, and I'm like, that's a 2-hour movie. Let me go. I'm going to go a little higher. Damn it.
Number 8 on Schwarzenegger.
Which is the second highest grossing installment in the Terminator franchise?
Second highest grossing installment. I'm going to say definitely not Genesis, because that was the newest one. I don't think it did well. I don't think it's the first one, because I think it picked up a lot of steam. So it's 2. The Judgment Day is 1, I believe.
Yes.
And then the second one is either 3 or Salvation. I'm going to say it's 3, Terminator 3.
It is Terminator Genesis.
It is the newest one?
440 million worldwide.
Holy shit. I would never guess that. I feel like that was kind of a, like not even a flash in the pan. Like I feel like it wasn't even in theaters that long.
Well, again, my brother-in-law who works at Paramount.
Yeah.
That was totally, and if you see the movie, the way it ends, that was totally going to be film one of a new trilogy. Mm-hmm. And after even though it made that much money, the reviews were so terrible
They just said no.
that he's like, that's not going to happen now. And Schwarzenegger was really good in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to see it. I've not seen that.
The problem with the movie, the big problem with the movie is the casting of Sarah Connor.
No good.
Terrible.
And that's Daenerys?
It's Emilia Clarke or Emil Clarke from
Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And she's just doesn't work.
Well, when we meet Sarah Connor in Terminator Genesis, she's supposed to be the pumped up Sarah Connor from Terminator Judgment Day. Uh-huh. And this actress is not. She's super tiny and not in shape at all. She's very soft.
Ah, that stinks.
Not fat.
Yeah.
Soft. So, like, perfect casting would have been Emily Blunt.
Yeah. Who's just a little bit more hardened. Like she looked.
Yeah,
she
like the way she was in Edge of Tomorrow.
I just watched Sicario.
Or that, but she would have been a great Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
So that to me really effed it up.
Okay, I'll still have to watch it.
So you've missed two.
I've missed two now. You've missed three. Here's number 9 for you. Penelope Cruz says to Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky, "I'll tell you in another life when we're both blank." What is the line? I'll tell you in another life when we're both blank. Vanilla Sky.
Wow.
It's one of the last lines of the movie, I think.
It's one of the Tom Cruise movies I don't like.
Yeah. I also almost wrote Selma Hayek in this question because I thought it was her in this movie. They confused me because they were in a lot of movies at the same time.
Penelope Cruz. I'm Penelope Cruz. If I would have married Tom Cruise, I would still be Penelope Cruz. They dated. They dated for like 5 years.
From that movie?
Yeah.
I'll tell you in another life when we're both
dead.
Cats.
Ugh.
You should know. You love cats.
I know, but I hate that
tell you
movie.
In another life, we're both cats.
That movie bummed me out so bad because he was reteaming with Cameron Crowe and Kurt Russell's in it. And
I loved it when I saw it in high school for some reason, like as a younger person. And I watched it recently, and I'm like, this is kind of a jokey, dumb, it just didn't work for me.
Cool.
What's number 9 for you over there?
You're going to get this in a heartbeat. Which Arnold Schwarzenegger film takes place during the Christmas holiday season?
Jingle all the way.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. All right. Number 10 for you. This is the last Tom Cruise question. Tom Cruise plays Austin Powers within a film in Goldmember. But who plays Dr. Evil? So this is not exactly a Tom Cruise question, but it's based around him.
Yeah.
He plays Austin Powers. Who plays Dr. Evil in that little parody at the beginning?
Boy, I have no idea.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's a weird little, and he's like, yeah. The movie is called Austin Pussy that they're filming. It's called Austin. I had to look that up on my, what was it called?
I don't like those movies.
No,
the Austin Powers films.
They don't hold up.
Like if you show me a clip from the movie, I crack up.
Yeah.
But to watch the whole thing together, I don't like them as a movie. I don't know if that makes sense. That's how I feel about most of the Will Ferrell movies too. If you isolate some stuff, I'll love it.
Yeah.
But then to sit down and watch the whole thing, I'm like, it doesn't interest me that much.
Last question, Schwarzenegger.
You're gonna get this.
Okay.
I would bet you'll get this.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Let's see.
Name the Arnold Schwarzenegger film based on the written work by Stephen King.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think I know it. Arnold Schwarzenegger work written by Stephen King. That combines one of my old topics.
I know. That's why I thought you'd get this.
Man, I do not know. Tell me this. Is it a very clear Stephen King work, or is it one of those ones where you're like, oh, I didn't even know he wrote that kind of a thing?
For some reason, I do think it's a clear Stephen King work, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it is.
I'm going to say End of Days.
No.
What do you got?
It's The Running Man.
Oh, now that is familiar.
Directed by Paul Michael Glaser, television's Starsky.
Really?
Yes.
Very random fact there.
Speaking of seeing celebrities, we saw Mr. Paul Michael Glaser at the Target one day.
Right over here.
Yeah.
That's an old school Target. I like going in there.
And Pilar was with me. I saw Aaron
Really?
Eckhart at that Target. I saw Maya Rudolph at that Target. I see a lot of people at that Target.
Which side did you see Eckhart? How was he looking?
He had a baseball hat on, pulled down very low,
Yeah.
and with a super young hot model.
Really?
Yeah.
I meant which side of his face were you? Was he all
good-looking
jacked up?
side.
The good looking side.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so Paul Michael Glazer. I was with my wife Pilar. I go, you want to see Starsky from television, Starsky and Hutch? She goes, oh my God, I had such a crush on him. And I go, he's right over there. And she turns and goes, oh,
there it goes.
because he's older.
Yeah.
But he had a full head of still crazy curly hair.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned him earlier. Who's looking older now is John Bon Jovi. He's finally starting to look.
Well, he stopped dyeing his hair, so it's gray.
It's grayish, and he's getting a lot of wrinkles.
He wishes he had the power to turn back time. New album drops next Friday. I cannot wait.
New Bon Jovi album?
Yes.
Already? Mm-hmm. I thought they just put one out.
At the end of last year.
This house is not a home thing?
That's the one. That's not out yet. It's coming out. Yeah.
Well, then maybe I'm not excited.
They're just promoting it a lot.
It's gonna be a lot of power. Here's my. I don't know if you were telling me this or my brother said he needs to stop everything. It needs to stop being so negative. Where it's like work for the working man. Like it's got like put
everything's an anthem.
Everything's an anthem. Putting something like we're gonna rise up.
Yeah,
it's like just already be up, man.
Yep.
Everybody's already up for a little bit. You can't always be working for the work.
Well, here's what's great is the album it's 3 versions. There's the regular edition has 12 songs.
Okay.
Then there's a deluxe edition that has 15 songs.
Uh-huh.
Then there's the Target exclusive edition, 18 songs.
Are you buying that one?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Got to dig into those 18.
You should have me on, and we'll do like a review of it. Or something.
I want to do an all Bon Jovi episode. I love them.
I have more dreams with
about John Bon Jovi.
Yes, and it's because my sister idolized him so much when I was a kid. She had posters everywhere. I saw him so much in my house that I've had dreams where he's just part of the family, like he like a cousin or something.
Yeah, I heard he's a dick.
Is he a dick?
Oh, I heard he is.
Really?
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. He's very self-made.
Very egotistical.
He's like the CEO of the band, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think the band's named after him. I could be wrong. And I have a music podcast, so a lot of times I throw a fact out there. I want to get it right.
We'll have to look into that. Pat, I think we are going to...
you won.
I think I won. Yeah. I think we're going to call it.
You did.
I think I won. We're going to do one more thing. If you win this, you will be declared the champion. We're not going to arm wrestle.
Oh, okay.
People can't see that. We're going to do a little category name off. This is called Categories with Buds. Usually we do a combo question when there's 2 people going against each other, but...
I'm already confused.
Since we wrote separate category questions for each other, we're going to
go to Subway after this and have lunch?
Subway?
Eat fresh, Subway. Today's episode brought to you by Subway.
Subway.
Categories with Buds.
The category we're going to name stuff from is Batman villains.
Okay.
So we're going to go around, back and forth, and whoever can't name one is out. The other person gets 3 points, and thus becomes the winner of this podcast.
These can be from comic books, films, and the television series.
I love it.
Okay.
I might not last long. I feel like you're going to know more than me.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So this could be your big chance at redemption.
All right.
And then you get to keep the cat.
And who goes first? Is it easier? Is it better to go first or second?
I don't think it matters.
I think you should go first because you won.
First. Sounds good. I'm going to say the penguin.
Oh, is that one? Are you sure? Okay, I'll go the Joker.
Okay. Riddler.
Catwoman.
Mr. Freeze.
I'm out. Louis the Lilac.
Who is that?
That's Milton Berle from the 60s series.
Oh, boy. Lily the Lilac?
Louis.
Is he a gangster?
Yeah. He wears all purple. It's horrible.
I'm going to say Poison Ivy.
Two-Face.
Killer Croc.
King Tut.
Man Bat.
Clock King.
Ra's al Ghul. Oh, if you say one that's already been said, you're out too.
The Bookworm.
Scarecrow.
Egghead.
Mad Hatter.
The Ventriloquist.
Harley Quinn. Oh, I thought maybe you said it as I was saying it. I'm like, did he just say that?
No, I did not.
Ventriloquist. I was going to say the ventriloquist. I couldn't pull the name.
Bane.
I will say, come on. I'm thinking of all the figures I have at home.
That's the way to do it.
Why can't I think of one? Solomon Grundy. God damn it.
Clayface.
I'm getting close to the end for some reason. I'm thinking too hard. Himself?
He's his own worst enemy?
How about the Arkham Knight? Is that a villain?
I don't think so. I think you're making that one up.
I may be done. Do you have one more?
I'm sure I do. Deadshot.
There it is. Pat Francis beat me on my own podcast.
And I bet there's 50 that we didn't name.
Easily. Maybe 100.
Yeah.
I feel salty now. So now you have to buy lunch.
I'll buy lunch.
Thanks for
you
being
get a kid's meal.
Eat fresh. Thanks for being on the show. Anything you want to plug besides your podcast? Rock Solid. You can find it on iTunes or wherever podcasts are sold.
If you live in the San Francisco area, January 20th and 21st, I will be there as part of San Francisco Sketch Fest. I'll be doing 2 shows there. So one will be a live episode of my podcast, and another episode will be something called Rock Solid Presents Kiss and Tell.
Ooh.
And that is when me and 3 other comedians, April Richardson, Wayne Fetterman, and Dave Holmes, we take the individual Kiss autobiographies and we read excerpts from those. And those are ridiculous books.
That's awesome.
So
very good.
Yeah.
So check those out. You can get tickets at Sketchfest.
Sketchfest.com. I don't think sfsketchfest.com, but I don't think they're on sale yet. But eventually, soon they will be.
And will there be special guests you're not announcing?
There'll be a guest at my live show, but I have not secured that person yet.
And you had Sammy Hagar
last
before.
Year, so
last
it
year,
will be.
So it could be somebody great.
Should be someone of note. Yeah.
You want me to call John? He's part of the family.
Call who?
Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi? I love to do John Bon Jovi.
I hear he's really nice.
I heard he's fantastic.
Pat, thanks so much for doing it. Thanks for being a pal in the 4 years I've lived in LA. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Listener quiz.
There it is, the conclusion of the very first ever Buds Battle, the one-on-one version of the podcast with me and Pat Francis. Check out Pat's podcast, Rock Solid. I've been a co-host on that before as well, or a producer on an episode with the Bengals drummer. So check that out. Very, very fun dude to listen to in all forms of media, Pat Francis. It's time for the listener quiz, everybody. This is the weekly segment on the podcast where you can play from home. You just have to send me the answers to these questions, and you'll be entered in a raffle to win an amazing prize. The prize this week is a copy of Airplane versus Volcano on DVD. I'll even sign it. That's a movie I was in, and I have 1 copy on DVD available. I'll mail it to your house. You don't have to go anywhere. And if you submit the answers to these questions and you're picked from the raffle and you have the questions right, you will get a copy of that movie starring Dean Cain. I get to pull a guy's arm skin off in this movie. It is ridiculous. If you want to watch it as well, you can watch it on Netflix. I believe it's streaming on there. Here are the 3 questions for this week's listener quiz. Question number 1, Concord is the capital of what U.S. state? Number 1, Concord is the capital of what U.S. state? Question number 2, in the TV show The Simpsons, what is the name of Marge's mother? What is Marge's mom's name on The Simpsons? And number 3, what number have you rolled in a game of craps if you roll boxcars? What number have you rolled in a game of craps if you roll boxcars? Those are the 3 listener quiz questions. Send me the answers to those this week to be entered in a raffle to win a copy of Airplane versus Volcano. Check out triviawithbuds.com for all my upcoming shows, weekly events, special events. There's a Harry Potter art show coming up on November 26th in Burbank at a place called Geeky Teas. I would love for you to come check that out. All day, it's arts and crafts of the Harry Potter variety, and I'll be doing some trivia from probably like 6 to 8 p.m. for all those huge Harry Potter nerds. And it's a really cool store with like game rooms, and you can adopt cats there, which is amazing. And then they have tons of other geeky pop culture stuff. So come check that out. Geeky Teas in Burbank on November 26th, Thanksgiving weekend, all day long. Thanks so much for listening to this. If you had a good time with today's episode or any episode you've listened to, please share it with a friend. That is the way to get more ears on this show. And I would love to get thousands of downloads a week, and we are on our way. We've definitely over doubled our listenership since we started, and this is episode 15. So send it to a friend, send a link out, tweet a link out, all that good stuff. Leave a review on iTunes. Leave me a review on Yelp if you've been to a live event. That really helps as well. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great week. And if you have a birthday this week, happy birthday, Scorpio. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.